Yo, it's Millyz. Shout out to Mikey T, the fucking movie star, man. Report Card Radio.
Millyz, man, I appreciate you joining me today on Report Card Radio, bro.
No doubt.
You know, Millyz, if we can get serious just to start this thing out, you have a story that I'd like to share with our audience. We've seen how serious COVID-19 is directly affecting, several people in hip hop. Could you share your story of your battle with the coronavirus?
Yeah, so at first I was super taking the precautions, but after a few months of like really quarantining and not being around people, I got tired of that shit, and I started rocking out with no mask and just being around groups of people because I live a social lifestyle, you know what I mean? Real social. So I think I was going through withdrawal from not being around people type shit in the capacity that I'm used to. So, I eventually started going out, and I didn't take the precautions. And I started feeling a cold, but I'm like, all right, whatever. I had left New York to go back to Boston because they said the corona was in New York the most. So I'm back in Boston. I'm not even thinking that it's possible to catch a cold. I mean, to catch this shit. I'm thinking it's a lie at this point because I really don't know nobody with it. And I started feeling a cold, and I just went to the hospital to get checked out or whatever, urgent care. Yeah, and they told me I had the Rona, and my mind was blown. I'm like, impossible. That's crazy. And at that time, like, I was just feeling like I was feeling like a heavy cold, like a real heavy cold. And then within like a day, it spread to my lungs. But I never went to, like, I got out of the hospital, you know what I mean? As soon as I tested positive, like, I was out of there. People kept hitting me and saying, yo, don't let them plug you up to the machines. But it was never my intention to even, stay there. Like, I was going because I'm more on my Dr. CB type shit. Like, I'd rather like do it naturally. So, I went to the crib, and I'm there, and I'm quarantining. And I stayed there for 14 days straight. And the first week was crazy. Like, the first week I started feeling like, I think like the third day, really, like, I realized my breath was to the point where I can't do FaceTimes anymore. So FaceTime calls were dead, and then phone calls were, all together. And my breath got so crazy. That third day, and then the fourth day got even worse. And I'm doing every home remedy. I'm breathing. Anybody who really had COVID, they'll tell you got to take this pot, and you put all type of lemon peels and ginger in it and all type of shit. Eucalyptus, and you gotta boil it. Like, it's recipes that they won't give you, at the hospital and shit like that. But so I'm using my inhalers because I'm asthmatic. You know what I mean? I'm using my inhalers. I'm using the pot. Pepsid AC helps. You could Google that too. But I can't breathe, man. Like, I can't breathe for shit. So the fourth day it got super ugly. And I started thinking, God damn, like, if this shit gets worse, like, I started thinking about my music library and what I would want to drop if I die. Yeah, man, that shit had me thinking. I didn't feel like I was gonna die, but the possibility was there because it got so bad on the third day to the fourth day that I'm thinking if it keeps getting bad on the fifth and sixth, or the fifth is bad too. And I went like 3 days without speaking. I didn't speak to anybody. Like, I didn't use my voice for 3 days, the first time in my life. I didn't say a word because I needed to preserve my breath. You know what I mean? And then I eventually kicked it. But it was like, I fought that shit really, really, really hard. Like, from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, I fought that shit super hard. Like, that second week, my symptoms started easing up, but even after it's been lingering, man. I still feel like I feel it sometimes. I can still feel the muscles in my back that got hurt from it. And I had talked to a few artists that had it, during the time I had it, and they were telling me, they were like, yo, my muscles still ache. And I'm like, nah, there's no way. But that shit is real, man. But I caught it with 8 other people, and the other 8 people or 7 people, they didn't have any effects. They just lost their taste and smell. I was the only one who felt like I was about to kick the bucket. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. You know, when I seen you post that on the gram, I was really taken back. I was like, this is just like too serious. You know what I mean? What happened with Fred the Godson and you posting it, I'm like, this is too much. So I've really been keeping myself away from a lot of people. You know what I mean? I've been doing the interviews like this lately. But you know what I mean? What was it that you was doing out in New York, man? I know you guys be passing that Henny around.
No, I was in Massachusetts. I was in Cambridge when I caught it.
Okay.
I went to Lawrence, Mass, shot a video, which, if you know where Lawrence is from, that's like Nicky Jam and shit. It's like the Spanish section of Massachusetts. I went to Lawrence, then I went back to Cambridge. I went to the projects that night because this girl from around our way died, and I was just within that time, I probably came in contact with like 100 people type shit.
Yeah, I be seeing your lives. I see how it goes on your lives.
Yeah. I was probably with like 100 people, but I never thought, you know, it would be me. But I'm kind of glad, you know, that I'm kind of glad I did get it now, because I don't think you could get it again for real.
No, just to tap in about that a little bit. My aunt actually, my great aunt, 85 years old, she had got the coronavirus. I seen my brother actually posted about it on Facebook. She got the coronavirus and she beat it. Still alive, healthy, you know what I mean? So that says a lot that an 85-year-old woman could actually beat it, man. So, but I'm just glad you're good, man. Your health is the most important thing, you know what I mean? You're out here changing people's lives every day, Millyz.
Yeah, I almost didn't post it either. I actually hit my man Set Free, and I was like, should I post? Should I tell people that I got COVID? Because, you know, I feel like a negative connotation comes with it. But I posted it, and I got a lot of love, you know what I mean? And my shit was so severe. I was getting love, but I wasn't even checking social media for like 5 days. Like, I was up, you know what I mean? But when I really got back around to checking it, I felt the love. Word.
So, Millyz, man, let's talk a little bit about where you're from. Tell me a little bit about coming up in the game and growing up in Massachusetts.
Yeah, so I'm from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Like, I'm born in Boston. I went to high school in Charlestown, which is a section of Boston. But I'm raised, everything I know comes from Cambridge. We're a smaller city. Boston is 96 square miles. Cambridge is like 7 square miles. We're the home of Harvard College and MIT. And so that accounts for about half of the whole city. And then the other half, there's about 25% rich people and 25% poor people living below the poverty line. You know what I mean? And so I came up there in the middle class family, I guess you could say. Me and my mother, you know what I mean? Me and my mother. And but I knew my pops, but he moved when I was young or whatever. I mean, I know my pops, you know what I mean? But he moved when I was young, so it was really just me and my mother. And yeah, that city taught me everything I know. That's where like Patrick Ewing's from. We got a lot of basketball players from there. Ben Affleck's from there. Like a lot of famous people come from Cambridge for being such a small city. You know what I mean? Like the first black woman ever on Baywatch, the Jarvis family. Like if you know about basketball and things of that nature, you know what I mean? Ramiro Robinson, Nipsey Hussle has said that he had a mentor from Cambridge, you know what I mean? If you check his interviews or whatever, Bob Francis, excuse me. But yeah, so it's like a special city, and it's a trap city, you know what I mean? We hustle.
What was your earliest memory of what made you want to get into music?
I think, you know, I think everybody wants to get into music at some point when they're young. They see artists look cool, and you want to be that, you know? So I think that's my earliest memory, but as far as knowing I could do it, it was just, you know, the first times I would write my rhymes and say them in my neighborhood, and people would react, and I love that reaction. That was like a high to me. That's a high that I still chase.
So who were some of the people that actually influenced you, you know what I mean, to actually get in the game? Was there many people from Massachusetts, or was it other people from other states?
Yeah, it wasn't really people from Massachusetts. It was like, you know, the famous rappers. I'm sure you know who I would say if I listed off all the rappers that inspired me, you know.
Was it what, Jay-Z, Eminem?
Yeah, Jay-Z, Tupac, Biggie Smalls. The shit that sounds cliche, but yeah, that's my, you know. But down to Beanie Siegel, State Property, D Block, the whole Death Row, Bad Boy, No Limit. I got a wide spectrum of music that I listen to, rap wise.
So let's break down how you actually got the name Millyz then.
That just came from the star point guard. Like I said, Cambridge is like a basketball town, and that came from the star point guard at the time on the high school team, Louis Ford. He used to just call me Millyz when he would see me around. My name's Miles, so I don't know where he got that from, but he would just call me Millyz, and it just stuck. You know what I mean?
Yep, for sure. So you said there's so many different demographics and where you come from. How were you promoting yourself? Were you handing out CDs, local showcases?
Oh yeah, like my CD grind was crazy coming up. I actually pressed these CDs I had a tape called White Boy Like Me, and it was like in my neighborhood, and it was just a regular day in the neighborhood. I took a picture with a lot of the homies. I told everybody go to the store, get black t-shirts. I wore a white t-shirt. I stood in front of my whole block and called it White Boy Like Me. So the cover would catch people's eyes off rip. So we would take that and we would go to every city in Massachusetts. We'd go all through New York. I would just hand CDs out. I'd never really try to sell them like that, you know, unless people just really wanted to buy them like that. But I just wanted to get my name out. So we would go all through Harlem, passing CDs out, all through the hood, all over Boston, like everywhere. You know what I mean? LA. My CD grind was crazy, and then I would have fans like on my MySpace or was it Facebook? I don't know. And I would send them CDs to pass out in their towns too. So I would send somebody who wanted to be down with the movement like 30 CDs, and they pass it to 30 of their friends. So, you know, that's how it was before Instagram.
Right. So that's actually what I wanted to ask you. Like, how did you, how did you like acclimate to all the online world that had come? You know, obviously you got the hand in hand. Obviously you got the respect of like your city. But once everything turned into an online campaign, how'd you go over to that way?
Well, I would have blew up crazy if I had the online thing when I was doing the White Boy Like Me brand, because there was nothing like that on the internet. I feel like I kind of missed that phase, and then I had to, you know, reinvent myself and really start understanding this whole Instagram thing. I started picking up a following really with like the bars. Like as far as getting to like cracking that 100,000 follower mark and all of that, that's all really off just high level rap, like going to different platforms and rapping. Right. They let me in the BET Cypher, you know, and I realized people really like this rap shit, and that's a way to really garner attention, you know, just giving pure skill, especially as a white rapper, because it cuts through everything and people gotta go, like, you gotta say he's nice at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So
almost after every verse you spit, you got to say that, man. But yeah, you're right, Millyz. That is the answer to that question. You go into all these shows like Sway, Static Selector, going to all.
Yeah, Static started it off. Going to Statics, I started getting real comfortable with rapping at radio from Statics, and then I went to Sway, Flex, Bootleg Kev, Cosmic Kev, and I went down the whole line, and I kind of wanted to check all the boxes and go crazy, just like it's like earning stripes, you know what I mean? It's like winning in every division, you know, as a football team.
So through all this that you were building for yourself, how did you end up getting a relationship with Jadakiss?
I met Kiss in like 2013, and I paid him for a feature at the time. because he was cool with my manager, and he liked the song a lot, and the song was going up. It's called The Plug. It's still on YouTube. You can go look it up. And I never wanted to be the person who just pays for a feature and then they just take the money and that's it. You know what I mean? Because I've done that to people before. So I understand that. Like, I've also grown relationships with artists that paid me and followed up with me. So I wanted to make sure to follow up with Kiss, not on some annoying shit, but just popping up at certain shit. So when I moved to New York, I was going to Starlets, like, you know, like he would always be on flyers. Jadakiss hosting at Starlets tonight, the strip clubs. So I had wild homegirls in the strip clubs. So I always used to just pop up by myself, wait till Kiss get there, get a little FaceTime, you know what I mean? Kicking with them some more, build a relationship. And that's kind of how we grew the relationship right there. And then his man who passed away, Ice Pick J, eventually told him, like, yo, you should sign the kid Millyz. And yeah, that's what we did.
How did the actual deal come about once he said you should sign to him? Was it something you guys actually inked in paper?
It's official. We just not with a major.
What are you working on over there with Kiss? I just seen that he actually put you on his album with the Dage Loaf joint with the Nino Man.
Yeah, I mean, before Corona hit, we were in the studio a lot, but they're making a new D Block studio, so we're always working though. We got something you know, this project is about to come out, Blanco Tres, so he's very heavily involved with that. The world's gonna see it soon.
That's right. So you were just saying that you and Kiss were actually in the studio a lot before this whole pandemic hit. Tell me a little bit about that, man.
I mean, you know, it's what you would think it is. It's we pull up beats and sometimes it'll just be a record I'm on, or a record he might just be working on his own stuff, or sometimes it's a collaboration. And when it's a collaboration, that's when you got to bring that pen game because it gets serious. You know what I mean? Yep.
I definitely heard Kiss trying out some new flows on records with you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Nah, he like to do that, but his pen game is crazy, man. It's a hell of a thing to be in the same room with him as he's writing to a song that you're about to get onto and you don't know what he's gonna say. Like, it could be an intimidating feeling. You really got to go hard, you know?
Facts. One of the greatest of all time. So what is So Raspy? It's a management company?
So Raspy is all of that. It's a label management company.
That's what's up, man. I definitely wish you all the success over there. But I want to ask you about a label deal that you actually turned down. I seen you tweet about it. Can we talk about how you turned down Treyway and Shotti? How did that whole thing happen?
I don't want to say it like I turned it down. Because the circumstances were crazy. Like the feds, as paperwork was going back and forth, the feds came in right there. Okay. So that was the end of everything anyway. But Shotti was my man. Like, I was moving around with Shotti a lot, and we were possibly thinking, you know, before everyone knew that this kid was going to be a rodent, you know what I mean? Before he got everybody locked up or whatever, we were thinking that we could do a partnership with So Raspy and Treyway possibly, and have the legend co-signing it with the goofy little dude co-signing it. So it would be because at the time he was hot, you know what I mean? But I mean, thank God that didn't happen. And, you know, free Shotti.
So tell me, how did you originally meet Shotti? Was he in the music industry when you first met him, or was it just dreams?
I met Shotti shopping downtown New York, and he had felt like he saw me somewhere before. We like struck up a conversation in my man Chuck's store, Origins, and he told me, yo, I got a video today. We got the Get the Strap video with 50 Cent. Pull up. So I thought that was respectable. The fact he just met me and invited me to some big shit. So I pulled up. You know, they showed me love. And we just kicked it from there. You know what I mean? We would hit the town.
Damn, how was the video shoot that day? Did you get to meet Fifth?
I was like right there. You know what I mean? Like I've met Fifth before, but that day it's like he was in a dice game, so it wasn't time for me to be like, yo, what up, bro? Like, You know what I mean?
No, I totally feel you. So you had mentioned that it was going to be a So Raspy Treyway thing. How did Kiss feel about when you brought Shotti to the table? Like, yo, Shotti's messing with me, Kiss.
Like, he was open to hearing it out. He was just more like, all right, what does the bag look like with the contract? You know what I mean? Like, he was open to hearing it out.
So, Millyz, I actually heard you shout Shotti out on your record recently, man. How have you been able to keep a relationship with him?
Oh, yeah, nah, you know, I talked to him. I talked to him on the phone. By the time this is out, my new video will be out, so you'll hear him on the phone in my video. But yeah, nah, I just keep in touch, you know, real shit. Send him something when I could, you know. Same thing I would do for any of my friends.
I hear you. So ultimately, I guess the question is like, why do you want to keep in touch with him? Do you feel like remorse for him after what happened, or?
Nah, he was a good dude, and Shotti took to me at the height of. Shotti was lit. That's what people don't understand. In the game, he was looked at as like a gangster in New York. Plus, he had the hottest artist in the whole world at the time. Like, he was super booming. When I'd move around with Shotti, people treated him like a celebrity. You know what I mean? So, Shotti was super lit. And everywhere I would go, he would treat me with that same respect. We would be in a room full of a bunch of hot new upcoming artists, and he would tell them, like, y'all bugging, you don't know who that is, you better get a picture with him, like, he's hotter than all y'all. Like, the way he would talk to me, it's just my man. He put a battery in my back, you know what I mean?
A lot of people are going to be looking for this Blanco. You know, a lot of people out there know you from that moniker. What can they expect from the third one in the trilogy?
Oh man, this is my first album where it's like half singing, half rapping. A lot of high-level rap, but a lot of singing, because some of my melody rap songs took off more than ever. Like, my song RLS about to hit 1 million streams on Spotify, like, well over 2 million streams combined. So, I got a lot of that in, a lot of the high-level rap. I got some dope features on there, and, yeah, man, movie time.